Alright, hey guys, another car vlog, cause there's a lot of news. There's a lot of things to talk about right now. So where do we even begin? Alright, so first bit of news, I'm just kind of sticking to things a little bit more recent. First bit of news, the Nickelodeon deal, and this came out first. And so Saban announced that they're partnering with Nickelodeon for another 3 years until 2021. That was a very confusing time frame because normally with Power Rangers, at least in the state that it's in right now, we have the first series and then we have the Super series, which is just the same series. I don't know why they do that. It's obnoxious. But so having a 3-year deal was really, really weird. My first thought jumped to maybe they won't do super seasons anymore. Maybe we'll get longer, just year-long seasons, which with Nick doesn't seem incredibly likely, but hey, it was a thought. Another thought was we're sticking with super seasons, but we're going to do a 1-season buffer, and then we'll do another super season. Or I described that incredibly wrong, but like, for instance, 1 year we'd adapt a Sentai, and then the next year we'd adapt a new Sentai, potentially with the same cast, maybe. And then the year after that, you do the super season for the second Sentai that's being adapted. So that was another thought. I don't know which one's going to happen, but it was really weird, to say the least. Until this next bit of news happened. A new logo. Actually, that has nothing to do with the other news. But, yeah, a new logo leaked by accident on a Saban Brands Vimeo account, of all places. And it showed the old logo, and then, like, lightning strikes in, and it, like, explodes, and then the lightning bolt comes down, there's a new logo. It's a very pretty logo. As someone that like studied graphic design and stuff, I think it's very sleek. I'm not a huge fan of the classic MMPR lightning bolt being in the middle. Right there, I'm not huge on that, but it does look kind of cool, and I like the font used and the kind of rainbow light effects used toward the bottom of the logo and stuff. I think that's really cool. It's a logo that could easily be manipulated, have the coloring effects match the Rangers that are in the series, and then just have the series tagline underneath it in a different stylized font or the same font or whatever it may be. I don't really care, but I think it's a very adaptable logo that looks very streamlined, very new, very current. So very happy about that. I understand the old logo is very iconic. We've used it since Zeo pretty much, but time for a change. It is definitely time for a change. It's been 22 years or something since Zeo, so it's definitely time for a change. And speaking of change, it was announced that Bandai of America, I want to make that clear, Bandai of America would no longer be the master toy licensee for Power Rangers. Saban decided to split ties with Bandai America, which is huge. Anyone that knows Sentai knows that Sentai, Sentai being Toei in this instance, TV Asahi, the broadcasting network, and Bandai Japan are all tied to the hip in terms of making Sentai. All three have huge stakes in the Sentai brand. And so over here, it was always Saban Brands, or in some case Disney, and Bandai America tied to the hip, even though there was only 2 parties involved. But apparently they're not as tied to the hip as we thought, because Saban was kind of done with Bandai. And honestly, 100%, I don't blame them at all. The quality of toys coming out of Bandai America has just declined year after year, and with Ninja Steel, it is the worst it has been. Sales are down incredibly, which is kind of across the board in terms of the toy spectrum, but when you have Dino Charge, which did very, very well, and you have Ninja Steel, which is doing like 50 to 60% lower than Dino Charge did, something is wrong. And then the whole auxiliaries being with the Megazords thing was a whole thing that everyone was all up in arms about, and so I don't blame them at all for wanting to leave. And the quality of the legacy products has been declining. The Zeo Gold Ranger legacy figure fiasco all of the Zero Rangers in general having that weird mustard color on their chests. It's just very, very obnoxious. And I don't blame Saban for wanting to jump ship. I assume that they've just been kind of as angry with the quality of stuff that they've been producing as we are. And we've shown it, and we've said it. We've caused a ruckus on social media. And I think this is what it ultimately culminated to. I'm sure this has been in the pipeline for a while, but I think Ninja Steel's declining sales was more or less the last straw for Saban, and they want to try something new. So this morning, it was announced that Hasbro is now going to be the master toy licensee for Power Rangers starting in April 2019. Now, it's a good date to remember. One that, does that start a fiscal year here? I know April starts a fiscal year in Japan. I actually don't know about here. But regardless, 2019 is the key to remember there. So Hasbro, the makers of Transformers, the makers of the mainline Marvel toys, the mainline Star Wars toys, My Little Pony, and a bunch of awesome board games and stuff, is now the master toy licensee for Power Rangers starting in 2019, and that is huge. That is huge. Toku Chris on Twitter and Will Jaco also said a very similar sort of joke that it's like being in like a long-term relationship and then like getting broken up with, but the person that you're breaking up with is already planning to get married with someone else that's a lot richer than you. And it's totally right, because Hasbro is probably one of, if not the biggest toy manufacturer in America right now, with all of the hottest brands, and now they just acquired another hot brand. Because even with the declining sales, Power Rangers is still a pretty decent sales force on store shelves, for sure. And Hasbro knows how to market to a broad spectrum of audiences. Transformers is something to kind of look into for that. And I don't want to say 100% because Transformers are getting shaken up a lot right now. But Transformers was always this whole thing where they had like a kid-orientated line with rescue bots. They had a kind of older kid-orientated line with robots in disguise. And then they had the adult-orientated line with Generations and Masterpiece. Hasbro knows what they're doing with that. Star Wars, they have the main 3.75-inch scale. Then they have the Black Series for collectors, also in the 3.75-inch scale. And then they have the 6-inch scale Black Series. And same with Marvel Legends. They have a very similar setup for Marvel Legends. And they know how to cater to adult fans. They know how to cater to kids. Hasbro knows what they're doing. Bandai did not. Bandai got the cut. Hasbro is now in, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what will happen from this. I've collected a ton of Hasbro-related things over the years. I'm an avid collector of Transformers. I've started to dabble in a lot of Star Wars stuff recently, and I'm usually happy with anything Hasbro I generally buy, because I know what I'm getting into, getting like the kid-orientated stuff as well. So I'm never really disappointed when it comes to Hasbro stuff. Hasbro had the Yokai Watch property when it was in America here. Still is in America here, it's just not doing anything, really. But they had the Yokai Watch property, which is Bandai Japan in Japan, and it was Hasbro over here. And I think they did a bang-up job with the Yokai Watch stuff. But I thought overall they did a pretty bang-up job with the Yokai Watch toy line, give or take. There were some things that are kind of dull, but especially in terms of the role-play toys, the watch was always really good. I never picked up the second one, but the first one was pretty good. And it was, for the most part, was a very accurate representation of the Japanese product. They did have to change some things because Bandai Japan and Hasbro are not the same thing. So they did have to change a couple things when that was brought over. But at the end of the day, I think they did a pretty good job. The brand just didn't stick in America, and so it ultimately kind of went and failed. But for what they did do, I think they did very well. So like I said, at the end of the day, I'm very much optimistic about the Hasbro venture. We'll see what actually comes of it. The only thing I'm a little worried about is what's going to happen to the action figure line. We're very much used to 5-inch scale figures in the Power Rangers community, and Hasbro's properties are very much 3.75-inch scale figures for the most part. So I'm very curious what's going to happen there, but with Marvel Legends and the Star Wars Black Series, they're very high quality, very amazing, and usually accessory filled when needed. Toy lines for the 6-inch scale, so I'm optimistic going forward about legacy figures. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit different because it's a new franchisee, but licensee is what I was going for. But so I'm optimistic about those continuing. They're not going to match what we have, and we could evidently actually start over, which is a pain in the butt. But we'll see what happens there. But I'm optimistic about the quality of figures at the end of the day. So that is that. Toy Fair is kind of swinging in full gear right now. Bandai is not there, obviously, because why would they show their face right now? Hasbro is, but again, they don't become the master licensee until April 2019, so we're not going to see anything there just yet, but I'm keeping an eye on all the Transformers stuff and all that, so it'll be fun, though there's a couple other things brewing from all different companies, so even without Bandai there's still going to be some Power Rangers stuff popping up at Toy Fair, so keep an eye out for that. But the last thing I wanted to address with the April 2019 date, we have no idea how that's going to affect the show. The show usually starts in February, and the toys usually hit in November, December of the year before. So we should be getting the toys for 2019's show in November, December of this year. But now with the licensee being in April 2019, Hasbro can't release anything until then. And they've said that their first products won't ship until spring, which is going to be April. So it's kind of like is the show going to be delayed? Is the show going to air in February and we just won't have toys for it until spring? Which can happen. It's happened for a lot of properties recently. Voltron, the new Ben 10, both of those series started without toy lines on the shelves. It's something that Saban generally likes having, but who knows? So we'll see what ultimately happens with 2019's Power Ranger series, 2019's toy line, all that. But again, very optimistic about the Hasbro thing because Bandai America is a pile of poop. So that about does it for this. I know a lot of people on Twitter and stuff have been asking me my thoughts about the Hasbro thing, so I just kind of wanted to do this and kind of get it out in the open. So very cool. Hope you've been enjoying the Lupin Ranger vs. Spot the Ranger reviews, and there's a couple more to come. And then by the time we get through with that, there'll be more build toys out because build doesn't stop. So enjoy, and as always, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great one. Bye. So that is all out of date now. I'm visiting friends, so I'm in their basement right now recording this because it's fairly quiet down here, so pardon the echoes. But yeah, everything I just said in the last video that I recorded yesterday before we came down here is already out of date because at Toy Fair, at Hasbro's presentation, they fully went all out with Power Rangers. I don't think they had any toy prototypes out or anything like that, but they did say that the toys would hit spring 2019, which we knew already, and that the new show for the 26th season would be airing in early 2019. So that pretty much cements the fact that the 2019 Power Rangers season is probably going to air around the February mark, like it normally does now. And then we just won't get toys until April. So that does suck a little bit, especially given what they said it is. But yeah, that's what it's looking at right now. So leading up to that, they did announce what the season is. Unfortunately, pictures weren't allowed at the event. But thanks to people there, Power Rangers Now is there. We have a couple people affiliated with Toku Nation and stuff through the Transformers community that are all there for the Hasbro presentation also. Announced it is Power Rangers Beast Morphers. And that first clicked a Jojo in my mind. But I thought about it. I was like, that doesn't line up with anything I've been told. And then they showed it off fully in the Go Busters came on stage. The Go Busters came on stage. So 2019, Go Busters is getting adapted as Power Rangers Beast Morphers. They have a really cool synopsis. It sounds very much like the kind of general plot of early Go Busters. Just replace like the cyberspace aspect with the morphing grid. So they're protecting the morphing grid from this evil sentient virus, which they probably won't tie into Venjix because RPM is in a like separate continuity now, but that's neither here nor there. But we're getting Go Busters. I can't believe it. Everyone that knows me knows that Go Busters is my favorite Sentai. And so to see it adapted will be absolutely great. And with Hasbro making these toys, the possibilities are endless. We could have legacy scale Go Busters, which is something that I bugged Greg, the old Bandai rep, about back at Power MorpherCon. And so I'm beyond excited. I feel like what we're gonna get out of this line is gonna be very, very cool. Can you imagine a Go Buster Ace like on the quality of like a Voyager class Transformer? That's insane to me. And so I'm very much excited for this. So like I said, it could all end up sucking, but at the very least right now, right here, right now, we're super excited. It's a great time to be a Power Rangers fan. 2019 is going to be very, very hot. For sure. So I am beyond excited. I'm going to stop rambling right now. And although there's stuff I said at the beginning of the video still applies, I think Hasbro is going to do a bang-up job. And they seem very dedicated to it too, from what I was told throughout the presentation. They're very excited to be working with Saban for Power Rangers now. So very much looking forward to everything that's coming up because it's Go Busters, yay! But I digress. So now, as always, thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great one. Bye. I'd like to thank Joey, Mr. Mike, Joshua, and all of my fans who support me on Patreon.